Hi, welcome to my channel. Um, no, I don't look great. This is not like the best like intro look. I didn't think I was gonna need to film one. I kind of thought that I already did an introduction. I haven't. And then come to like get ready to export and get ready to edit. I've also lost my review of the very first book for this vlog. Hopefully I'll find it. If not, this will be my review. But welcome to this video. This is me catching up on the Literally Dead book club picks. So this is a book club hosted by Books and Lala, or also known as Kayla. And Kayla is kind of the reason that I got back into reading with the Buzzwordathon. And so a year and some change, we'll get to it. A year and some change, I joined the book club and I've participated actively and I've been to almost every live show. I have read now all but one book. That one last book I'm reading tomorrow. So go me. But it did take me all year. Literally, I think I started this project like, I want to say like March, April-ish. Like I started reading these books and it is now fully December. I finished the last one, You're Invited, last month. I thought that I was going to include House of Leaves in this vlog as well. That's getting its own separate vlog because it deserves it and it needs it. And this video is already going to be long enough with all of the books. So that's what's going on with me. This vlog has been torture, has been a mess. This specific one, not so much. House of Leaves, that's a whole other beast. Which you will see on Thursday. But do know that I have suffered for Kayla and myself. I read these books out of order, but the editing style, they'll be in order of the months. So that's my long-winded way of saying hello, welcome to this vlog. We are catching up at reading all of the Literally Dead book club picks. These are primarily from 2021. No, 2020? That's when it started. 2020, 2021, 2020. No, 20. I'm so bad at math. I've worked too many hours. These are primarily picks from 2020, as well as a little bit of change from ones that I either... I started the book club with Every Value Break. That was my very first like thriller introduction into what has really become a big shift in my life. But basically, this little span 2020, a little bit of 21, and then the end of 22. And the only one that I have not yet read is A Twisted Love Story, which I'm so hesitant about because I had high hopes for it, and everyone's like, ooh, not that one. So that's cool. Now, the other people, I've seemed to have lost the footage of that review, so I'm just going to quickly let you know what happened, what it is, and then we'll move on with this video. This one's underwhelming. It honestly is like a very unfortunate beginning to a wonderful and incredible book club. The Other People by CJ Tudor is interesting premise, but I thought that the execution wasn't as good. This is from what I remember, and I read this so long ago, but what I remember is that this is about Oh no, I know that there's like this weird thing happening with The Other People who like, apparently it has been too long. Do you ever like read something, know how you felt, remember enough of a gist, and then just in one ear out the other for the rest? I gave this like a low 3 stars. Like I really did not feel anything. Driving home one night, stuck behind a car, Gabe sees a little girl's face appear in the rear window, and she mouths one word, Daddy. It's his 5-year-old girl, Izzy. He never sees her again. Yeah, slowly, all of it's coming back. 3 years later, Gabe spends his days and nights traveling up and down the motorway, searching for the car that took his daughter, refusing to give up hope, even though most people believe Izzy is dead. Fran and her daughter Alice also put in a lot of miles on the motorway, not searching but running, trying to keep one step ahead of the people who want to hurt them. Because Fran knows the truth, she knows what really happened to Gabe's daughter. Then, the car that Gabe saw driving away that night is found in the lake, with a body inside, and Gabe is forced to confront events. Not just from the night his daughter disappeared, but from far deeper within his past. His search leads him to a group called The Other People. If you have a lost one, the other people want to help because they know what loss is like. They know what pain is like. They know what death is like. There's just one problem. They want other people to know it too. So, again, like the premise sounds so cool. And I might have just not been in the right headspace for this particular read. I listened to the audiobook. It wasn't really working for me. The premise is cool. The execution, I just felt like the other people, as like awesome of a premise they are, were really underutilized because it really focuses on Gabe and like his storyline. And I just didn't care or connect, and I was just like, okay, so sucks to suck, bud. I don't know what to tell you. I thought the mystery was fine. Like, it was interesting. Once it like starts connecting at the end, like it gets exciting because you're like, oh my goodness, little twists. I didn't see all of this coming. And so I'm like, it is fine. It is fun. I wouldn't not recommend it. Like, it's a good time, but it's not like a time that I obviously remember very well. It wasn't like super memorable of all of these books that I ended up reading for this video. So that is my very quick review of The Other People to keep this video a little bit shorter. And I'll see you in the next clip for the next book. Okay, hey, this is not the designated area for me to talk about this book, but I just need to talk about it before I forget everything. So I've started Platform 7 by Louise Dowdy. I'm so proud of myself if that's right. I don't care. I'm not interested. I'm not intrigued. I don't know if it's the narrator, the writing style, the plot. I do not have a care for whatever is going on. All that I know is that we have 2 timelines, I think, if not 1 timeline, and she just does like flashbacks, which have been occurring in books so often lately that I think I'm just over flashbacks. But our main character is dead, and her soul / spirit is stuck on platform 1. I'm assuming platform 7 is probably where she was murdered. I'm not sure. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what matters. I guess that she like met this guy after she bruised her foot and sprained her foot, and I guess he murders her, and like you find that out in chapter 5. But she's in love with this other guy who isn't a spirit ? But he can't go onto the platforms where she is, and she can't leave the platforms. I don't know. I don't know. I don't care. It's so hard for me. I've been trying to read this for 3 days, and I have not gotten past like chapter 6 at any point. And that's not normal for me. Normally, like, I can crank out at least 40% of a book just fine. But this one, it's a struggle. It's a struggle bus. Hi, you can hear the sink in the background, so I will try to make this quick. I really don't have a lot to say, but I have finished Platform 7, and I didn't like it that much. I didn't really care about it. I couldn't care less about the story. It's not really a thriller. So my expectations going into it were like, it's for the Literally Dead Book Club, but I feel like at least once a year there has to be this wasn't correct. This genre wasn't right. This feels like drama, contemporary with horror elements, but the ending isn't like twisty-turny, and the reveals happen so early on that you're not really getting much from it. So I wouldn't say I don't recommend this book, but it's just not something that like I would recommend to someone looking for a horror thriller by any means. It's definitely more of like, if you're into a contemporary sad story that revolves around toxic abusive relationships, then like it might be the thing for you. But that feels pretty niche, and so I did end up giving it 2 stars, partly because my expectations were I was gonna get a thriller or horror out of this, and it just wasn't really that. And then I also am giving it a 2 because I was so bored. The last hour and a half, I turned up my audiobook to 2.5 times speed just so that I could finish it sooner. And that last like 15 minutes felt like 3 hours. It was brutal to finish. I just could not find the will to care at all. And it sucks sometimes, but that's that. It is what it is. Hey guys, I am just checking in with my, honestly, end of update. I finished at work. You are not alone. by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Peckins, something like that. You know what I'm talking about. Covers here, you know. This is a thriller, and not a lot happens. I honestly was a little bit disappointed. I did end up giving it 2.5. I think on Goodreads I gave it 3 stars because I was interested enough, and the twists and everything were fine, but it felt a little bit predictable. I felt like I understood everything from the beginning of the story, like what was happening, and I wasn't super blown away by the way the story ended. This is basically just about a girl who witnesses an accident on the train and basically makes her whole life figuring out why this person did it, and then it becomes more involved, if you will. It was fine. The writing style wasn't bad or anything. The narrator was fine. I just didn't care, basically. It wasn't something that I wanted to pick up or finish. It didn't hold my attention. It just like wasn't great, really. But you know, it's been read. It's another one off the list. I now have 4 left, I think, and I don't even want to think about House of Leaves, so. Hi, we're here to chat. I've made progress. I'm actually going to finish this today, but I've been reading Fragments of the Lost, and the title makes so much more sense to me now. I didn't know anything about this going into it. I just kind of jumped right in, no thoughts, head empty, and I'm loving it. This is a contemporary mystery. This is young adult, which I was surprised. We are following a high schooler who has been begrudgingly tasked to clean out her ex-boyfriend's bedroom after he passed away. Seems to be an accident to his death, but nobody really understands like why it happened. And she's kind of just going through his room, finding their old memories and piecing things together, and I'm assuming she's gonna either solve his death. I'm gonna be honest, 40% in, I'm thinking there's a, not sure. I think there's a chance. I think that based off one little scene, maybe. But she's basically piecing together like why they had broken up, if their breakup was valid, and if she can find anything about his death. That's basically all I know so far. I'm very excited to finish, though. I'm going to literally jump right back into this and wrap it up because I'm having a good time. It's written really well. I really enjoy the writing. I'm definitely going to read more of Megan Miranda. I really enjoy the writing style, and I felt a lot of emotions. Like I was, no tears, no crying, but I was tearing up on page 57. This book has all of the emotions that you experience in a high school relationship and high school breakups. Like it's there, and it makes a lot of sense, and it really transports you back to like those high school angsty feels, that first crush, that first relationship. Like it's doing a good job. So I'm, yes, excited to continue. I'll let you know my thoughts at the end. I just finished. Do I think that this makes sense for a Literally Dead book club pick? Absolutely not. This is a young adult, barely, like, a mystery. No thrills, no scares, no high heart racing moments. If you enjoy Looking for Alaska, you'll like this. It's just a cute high school mystery. You're figuring out Caleb's secrets after his death, and you are seeing Jessa with her relationship with her friends and her family and her ex-boyfriend and his family, and you're just kind of getting all of these high school feels. And I felt a lot. There was laughs and there was emotional sad parts. I really loved the ending and how it all turned out, and it is just very looking for Alaska. It's just solving the mystery, figuring out the whys of the actions made, and I saw a lot of it coming. Nothing really surprised me. There was only one out of like the three things that I was like, okay. But it was a good time. I don't want to give it 5 stars, but at the same time I want to give it 5 stars. Like, compared to other 5 stars, like, absolutely not. Hello, sweetie. It's not like other 5-star worthy, but at the same time, I did really enjoy it, and I felt a lot of emotions from it. So maybe it's like a 4.5. I just, this was a good time. This is a very, like, light read. I'm excited to see what the book club has to say, because this is so out of the norm, like, out of the wheelhouse. And I know there's usually, like, one very odd one out of the year, but this just, like, doesn't feel... It feels like Kayla picked it because of the author, not really realizing what it was going to be. But yeah, I'm very excited to see what everybody had to think of this, because it's very different from the other picks. But I had a good time, so... Ha! Hey guys, I'm getting ready to head off to work, finish another book, but I wanted to check in, update on my current read for this video, which is The Guest List by Lucy Foley. I read The Paris Apartment. It's right there. I did not like it. I wasn't a big fan. I wanted a lot more like Paris. I want more atmosphere. I want more atmosphere from Lucy Foley books. That's what it is. The characters are there. You've got so many perspectives in her books. Luckily, there's different narrators for the perspectives in the audiobook for The Guest List, which is nice. But I'm 43% into this book, and it has been nothing but drama and getting to know the cast of characters. 43%. We've gotten to the destination for the wedding. There's been one singular group party where everyone was drinking some like champagne, a little like pathetic jump scare, and like that's been it. So all I know about this book is that it takes place at a wedding, which I do know is a setting that Kayla really enjoys. So I know that has like, that part alone will probably put this in like good standing for Kayla's liking, I'm assuming. So yeah, a wedding. Someone's probably gonna die. This is Irish, which is really cool. I'm Irish. St. Patty's Day just recently passed, so outing myself on the dates. Whoops. Yeah, that's it. That's it. I'm hoping by the time I finish it today, I will know so much more about this and it'll get exciting. But right now, it's just drama, people getting upset about nothing, and jealousy, and ex-boyfriends, and all these things. Like, it's just not drawing me in. I'll finish it, but nothing has happened. 43% in a thriller, nothing has happened. Lucy Foley is such an interesting writer. Okay, I'm gonna head to work. I'll check in with you guys tonight when I get home on how it concluded. Hello. It's many hours later. Like, nearly 12. I had to do math for a second. Hi, I'm back with some almost final thoughts of The Guest List by Lucy Foley. I have about an hour. I have about an hour left until it is finished. We just got to like the bodies discovered moment, which honestly, for like an hour being left of the book, it kind of took a while to get there. I'm okay with the decision though. I have like no feelings at all towards this. Definitely content trigger warning for self-harm. One of the main characters very obviously is doing it, and some detail I don't personally want, but that's a thing. So my two favorite characters are Olivia, the 19-year-old stepsister to the bride, and Hannah, the bride's best mate's wife. Those two are my favorite perspectives. They're my favorite characters. They're my favorite narrators. The narrator for the husband, by the way, is so bad. I feel so bad because, like, this is supposed to be, like, your movie star, celebrity, hunky boy. Like, everyone loves him. And he has the worst narrator. And I feel bad about it. But, it is what it is. Plot-wise, nothing really has happened. It's kind of been drama. It is formatted in a similar way to, like, Dark Academia, where, you know, like, there's secrets from the past, and there's obviously, because it's a thriller, murder, mystery, like, there's murders involved, but it's just set up like a Dark Academia in the sense of you've got your group of characters kind of coming together again after college and high school and so on, and the truth is coming out, and it's like this big reunion. It has that vibe. It has that familiarity. It kind of reminds me a little bit of In My Dreams I Hold a Knife in that sense, just like the stylistic pacing and everything like that. Not a lot of atmosphere, to be honest. I do prefer this over The Paris Apartment, which we read for the Literally Dead Book Club in 2022. I also think in March. So, yeah, I don't know if Lucy Foley is for me. I haven't been, like, excited to pick them up or really that interested in the content. Who knows? This last hour might really surprise me. But basically, it's just so. I've already run it through CowPile, so, like, I already have, like, an idea of what my rating is going to be unless this final hour blows me away, which I just don't think will happen. But again, we will wait. We will see. I'm going to try to finish it tonight. I have an hour left of the audio, but we will see. If not, I will finish it tomorrow and let you guys know and update you, but we will see. I'll try my blah best. But I think I'm going to watch some TV and just, like, relax a little bit and make dinner. It's going to be a great time. So I'll see you later. Hello. It is the next day. You could probably tell. Ow. I want to wrap up my final thoughts on The Guest List by Lucy Foley. If you have no interest in this book, I highly recommend watching Kayla's live show video, because she goes plot by plot, character perspective by character perspective, and just, like, talks in depth about the actual plot of the book, which I think is so fun. So check that out if you're not interested in this book. If you are interested in this book, my final thoughts were the ending, like the plot twist, if you will. It works. It made sense. It's not easily guessable. You have a lot of suspects to pick through though, so, like, that kind of adds to this element of surprise, which I did enjoy. I wasn't expecting it. But at the same time, I didn't care a whole lot. Like, I'm glad that he died. He was scum. So, no surprise there. So it was one of those things that, like, I wasn't overwhelmingly shocked. They weren't big shocks. They were just shocking a little bit. You're like, oh, okay. Connections made. Got it. And so that was fine. It wasn't anything, like, crazy. And it ends so quickly, so abruptly, and basically at the end everyone's like, glad he's dead. I'm like, wait a second, shouldn't there be more, like, something, more emotion, anything? So yeah, it ends rather abrupt. It is what it is. So that's Lucy Foley's The Guest List. I'm giving it a 3-star on Goodreads, but 3.5 overall in total. It wasn't bad, it wasn't fantastic, it was just, like, your mediocre, good, dramatic thriller. So yeah, I think the overall enjoyment of the book lands typically for people around 4 stars. So I'm not going to say don't read it. I'm just going to say, if you've read, apparently The Hunting Party is incredibly similar. Lucy Foley feels like one of those authors. If you've read one, you kind of read them all. I would say The Paris Apartment is quite different, but yet, like, same beats. But I much preferred the Guest List to The Paris Apartment. So that is that. Trigger warning galore, especially for self-harm. The main 2 characters that I really liked were Olivia and Hannah. They had the most interesting backstory. They are my female rage, with just scum of men that can be around. They were the worst. Anyway, I love their perspectives. I love them as characters. I thought they were great. I like their narrators a lot. Olivia, though, does self-harm openly in the book, so just content warning for that one, because I wasn't ready for that. But hey, whatever. So yeah, that was that. And now, I would like to make it apparent that one of my notes for the guest list by Lucy Foley was, like, the first note that I made was, my toxic trait is blocking out male narrators. That's where I'm at lately. They're just not appealing to me. If you don't have a nice voice, I don't care. With that said, let's talk about the next book. I finished Zone 1. This is by Wilson, something like that. Boy howdy. I've never wanted to DNF a book so much before in my entire life. I'm not a fan. I'm not a post-apocalyptic girly. I'm not really a zombie girly. I'm not a apocalypse, world-ending, doomsday. None of that is for me. It's not my genre. It's not my thing. Not my style. Anyway, moving forward. This is a post-apocalyptic / pre, like, it has flashbacks from before and after the apocalypse, where people get infected. It's like in a zombie outbreak. We're mostly following in the post timeline, where our main character Mark is volunteering to help with the government of Boston or something rehabilitate Manhattan and the Zone 1 area project to, like, make life great again. So they're kind of, like, clearing out the zombies and dead bodies and so on. Oh, what do I have to say about this? Nothing. Like, that's the plot. But truly, this book is beautiful prose, which is so lost on me. Us just following him, it's very stream of consciousness. The beautiful prose is something, but it's so lost on me because I'm not a big brain intelligent woman that has, like, a very large, extensive vocabulary. A lot of it was missed on me. A lot of people talk about how beautiful the prose is, and I truly could care less. Doesn't make up for the lack of everything else in this book. There's no character, period. No character development, no plot. It's super slow, super mundane. It doesn't get good until apparently the last 30 pages, but at that point I was so checked out, I just didn't care. What this reminded me of, and I only have this because Austin's been really into video games lately, especially zombie games, and truly all I can think about is him playing a zombie game, but you're just, like, going to talk to the NPCs, and they just, like, they're NPCs. Like, there's nothing there. There's no substance. It's so boring. Yeah, let's look at my notes. Boring, no action, intentional, I know, but not good. And finally, brilliant language of a brilliant man, intelligent man, and beyond lost on my pea brain. Lovely. We love to see it. Yeah, this just wasn't for me. Rachel, who was the co-host, gave it 2 stars, and Kayla gave it 3.5 stars. I think because of the prose, it wasn't for me. This one was not for me. I'm so sorry. I feel a little bit bad about it, but I genuinely just, like, couldn't care. I was so bored the whole time. I didn't want to pick it back up. I truly have never tuned out an audiobook so much in my entire life. The reason I gave it 3 stars is because it's not for me. It's well written, but it's not for me. Like, it wasn't my genre. I knew 1,000% that, like, it's a good book. It's just not a good book for me. And so I don't try and rate things, like, super lowly because of that, because I acknowledge that it was fine. But it's probably the lowest 3 stars I've ever given out in the history of my reading. So that's something. So yeah, that was Zone 1. I would have checked in during, but truly there was just no thoughts. I've had nothing to say about it. It was mid. It was very mid. that's it. All right. See you guys for whatever the next book is. Look at Fourth Wing just glowing in its glory. I've finished Home Before Dark. I actually finished this a couple days ago at work. I read this all in one sitting. This was wonderful. This is like the Riley Sager everybody talks about. This is everything that I hoped it would be. So in this, we are following 2 timelines. We are following a book written by our main character's father, telling the story of the haunting of Baneberry Hall, which is a house that they bought when she was 5 years old, and they moved in. Life was, exciting for a little bit, and then some spooky things start happening, and we're leading up to a lot of discoveries of the house. And upon her father's passing away, she inherits this house that she didn't know he still possessed. She thought that they had sold it when they moved out. They lasted in the house for 20 days. And then we're following her current day, and she goes to Baneberry Hall with the intention of repairing it, fixing it up, making it all nice to resell, because that's what she does. She works in construction and design with her best friend. And so she goes back really wanting some answers about why they left, why her dad wrote this book that ruined their family, ruined kind of her life in some sense. And the hauntings were everything about it. There were moments where I was edge of my seat. What is happening? This is a little bit freaky. I'm a little bit spooked. There were moments of laughter and red herrings that I totally fell for. At some points, I had a prediction of who would be the antagonist, if you will, who the twist was going to involve, and I was incorrect. I was pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed the last 40 pages were such a wild ride, and I thoroughly enjoyed this. It was 5 stars. I am so excited to read Riley Sager's Lock Every Door and the other one with the pink cover. Oh, I wish I had it in here. But anywho, I had a great time with this. This was so much fun. I'm very excited to read those other 2. I do have Final Girls. That one doesn't really draw me in as much, but I'm very intrigued to continue on with the other 2 in Riley Sager's back list. And then his new release will come out very soon. So that's really exciting. I've heard good reviews of The Only Ones Left so far, so spoilers. But yeah, this was a good time. I thoroughly enjoyed this. That was great. So hi, happy tax season. I'm spending my miserable day off tracking Austin's mileage for the past 12 months. It's so fun. Having the time of my life. Whilst I'm doing such things, I've made it a full month. I got a whole month in there. Am I doing it correctly? I'm not sure. I'm waiting for my tax preparer to text me back. But whilst that's happening, I have started Catherine House. Oh, I took a pause on my other book because truly I was getting so bored with it. So I started Catherine House by Elizabeth Thomas. I already love it so much. What I know so far is that this is technically a dark academia. It's a thriller mystery, and that's the gist. That's the genres. Now the plot is we're following our main character, who is in university. I think she's been accepted or is trying to get accepted into the Catherine house, which is an incredibly exclusive, I think it's more like a sorority, like a fraternity sorority, but like anyone can get into it, but it's extremely exclusive. The like brightest and highest of class people come out of Catherine house. So like it's got a lot of hype around it, for lack of better terms. And one of like the big rules is that you lose contact with anyone outside of Catherine house for the first year. And you have to like collect like these points to be able to like have the ability to see people, like talk to your family. I don't know. I'm literally 8 minutes into it, but I'm so excited. It's giving me, oh, hello. It's giving me exciting vibes to get me through this not exciting task. So that's my check-in. Nearly an hour and a half in. I'm so tired, but I like it. Hello, I want to chit-chat a little bit about the book I finished. I finished 2. We'll talk about the other a bit later, but I finished Catherine house, and I finished it at work. One of my favorite things to do is to take notes on my phone, like in the notes app, while I'm listening to the audiobooks. There's just something about it that helps me engage and focus, but it makes books just a more fun, silly time, because I have silly thoughts. I find myself to be very funny. I don't care what you think. I'm funny. And so I just like have feral thoughts as I'm listening to books, rather than thinking like, oh wow, these are great quotes, these are great lines, like wow, this character is so bleh. Like I don't do that. I do have feral thoughts that I think are just funny though, so I'm gonna share a few with you. Have I explained the plot of Catherine house? Not really, but I also don't think I can explain beyond what I've already told you. Our main character gets accepted into Catherine house, which is like a super elite school, and it is based off the author's time at Yale studying there. And so it's a very cult-like university, and weird things happen. And our main character has a roommate, Baby. Yes, like Dirty Dancing. And the first note that I took was for her especially. There's two things. The first one being, I want to ask if you're okay, because obviously, no, you're not good, but like, are you good? So much concern for that little character. My favorite quote from Baby, and it's so sad, but it's so real. I think that the mental health portrayal is kind of accurate, but Baby's like really struggling with acceptance, and like the Baby is an incredibly complex character, the complete opposite of our main character who we are following, but there is so much that goes into Baby's character. And one of those moments when she's just kind of like, everything sucks, nothing is well, it's leading up to her character arc. And she's kind of just like, I don't want all these things, like I don't, blah, blah, blah. And she goes, I don't want anything, not even death. And that just like, you know, oh, I felt that so much, more than I should have. I understand like the, not greatness that comes with that, but that was felt. That was incredibly felt. Oh, yeah, not wanting anything, not even death, because like you're just so consumed by nothingness at a time. Wow. My notes make no sense if you haven't read this. So a lot of ways that I would describe reading this book: drowsy, hypnotic, dreamy, you're just tipsy you're just like a steady, like comfortable drunk the whole time, because there is a lot of consumption in this book. If that bothers you, check the trigger warnings for this. There's a lot here. But that's just like the feeling. Like, this is a very character-driven heavy book. It's a lot of all vibes, no plot. There is obviously a plot, like there are events that lead you through the book, but it is more of a vibe. You are just in this hypnotic state with a semi-unreliable narrator. And it's just like a very unique writing style. I will continue to pick up from this author after this. I did give this 4 stars. I do know that things get kind of weird between our main character and her boyfriend. And I just have, sir? And then the very end, I had no real thoughts except for, what? So yeah, that was my ending. That was my crash course ending for Catherine House. What a time! Questionable things. I like cult-esque books, though. That is something that I think I like. I have not read nearly enough. But I really enjoyed, like, this drowsy state of, like, being, I love this school. I love Victoria, the, like, headmaster. I loved all these things. Also, there was a interview with the author at the end, which was fantastic. But yeah, it was one of those things that I was just like, she's enthralled, she loves it, it's all consuming, and then like the next second she's like, I need to get out of here, like this isn't great, this is bad, and then just like kind of being in that wish-washy state of like, I don't know how to feel. There's a lot of emotion there's a lot to unpack, and I thought it was really good. I don't understand a lot of it, but I thought it was good. I enjoyed the vibes. So yes, now I'm going to be watching the live show with Megan over at Meg with Books and Aaron over at Booked and Busy. Hey guys, so I've been reading One by One by Ruth Ware. I have gotten a little bit further. I'm listening to the audiobook as well, so I'm not sure exactly where I am, but it's going actually pretty well. I'm enjoying the story, especially more than I thought, seeing as this is like notoriously BookTube's least favorite thriller, like very bad reviews, very bad ratings. I'm really excited to finish it and see like what the mystery is going to be, and then watch the live show to like see everyone's thoughts and opinions. But what is this about? This is about a group of colleagues that created this app, Snoop, which allows you to snoop on what people are listening to, like what music a celebrity or just like your neighbor is listening to. A little weird, but it's fine. And they're going on this skiing business retreat, kind of to relax, but also because somebody wants to buy the company from them. And it's going to obviously give them a lot of money, and shares will make a lot of money from the sale, but not everyone is on board. And so it's a business retreat while also being like a relaxing fun time. But we're in a very isolated setting in a ski resort where there's only 2 hosts, if you will. There's Erin, whose perspective we are following. She works at this resort with her friend Danny. Danny is like the chef, and she's very new to Snoop. She's kind of like our outsider looking in. And then we have our insider, which is Liz. And Liz has not worked with the company in 3 years, but still has stakes in the company because she invested part of an inheritance into the company. And so they're trying to really like appease her and make sure she's having a good time and she's comfortable. And there's been no mystery so far. It's just kind of like work, colleague, banter, and fights. Not a whole lot has happened. I do enjoy the people though. I'm having fun with like their interactions and the drama and the isolated setting. It hasn't really bothered me. It's just like a little bit slow to get anywhere. It's still establishing the setup, which I think is fine because this is kind of getting close to 400 pages. It's 368. There's kind of like time for things to happen, especially because I think I'm probably closer to maybe like this far into the book. So that's kind of the setup though. That's kind of what's been going on. And I will update you guys either when I'm halfway or done, depending on where it goes from here. But so far, I'm actually enjoying it, which is a great sign because some of these picks, not been great. Okay. Still reading. I've gotten further in. I'm now on page 184. So I have about 180 pages left, if that math is correct. People have gone missing. Murders have happened. And this is one of those few instances in a story where I'm okay with random, regular schmegular people doing investigation work. One of my biggest problems with like crime thrillers or like big mysteries is I cannot stand regular people doing the police's job and not just like getting the police involved. Because although I don't like the police and I don't necessarily always trust them, it's still kind of their job and like you're safer that way. But at least in this instant, like it's such a locker room mystery because there was an avalanche, so they can't do anything. There's no reception, they don't have power, so it makes sense. But there's a few like writing things in here that I'm like, okay, whatever. It's a little weird, but it's fine. But yeah, so now it's just everyone is questioning everyone. Everyone's trying to figure out who done the murders, what's going on. I have a few different theories in mind. I won't share them because I don't want to spoil anything. But I have, I think, 2 people in mind for who it could be. We've set up a mystery for how everyone's kind of involved, but also still learning how people are involved. And I think it's interesting. I'm enjoying it. I don't think it needed to be this long. I think it could have been more condensed and it would have had a better pacing and outcome. But overall, I think it's fine. I've got 2 hours left. So hopefully those 2 hours will go by fast. Alrighty, well, I have finished One by Ruth Ware, and I do have thoughts. For once, I haven't watched the live show yet. I'll probably do that tomorrow, and if anything like crazy is said or happens, then I'll let you know. So I don't get the point of Snoop. I don't know why that was a part of this. It didn't feel necessary whatsoever. I also think this book was way too long, like I had mentioned. I think this would have benefited from 100 pages less, or same amount of pages but with more perspectives, more point of views, even if they were just like peppered in here and there, just seeing different people's point of views, I think would have gone further, because I was able to guess very quickly who the killer was going to be, and I kind of had a clear idea where this was going. But I did enjoy the moments with the characters because I liked the characters a lot. I enjoyed this like retreat, this winter setting. I liked a lot about it. It just was way too long, and so I was bored. I was ready for it to end. I just was like waiting and waiting and waiting for the end to come so I can read something else. Because once you get the gist of a thriller, or you know the twist or plot points it's going to be making, it doesn't feel as necessary to read, because you're like, yeah, I know. Why don't you know this already? Like, we should be on the same page and we're not. So, yeah. That's my thought. I think I'm giving it a 3-star though, which isn't bad. So, I'm excited to continue with Ruth Ware, because this is now my second. I read The It Girl, and I really enjoyed that one. And then on the back, there's some other ones, and I've heard great things about The Death of Miss Westaway and The Turn of the Key. Those 2 are the ones that I'm most intrigued about. And then also I hear a lot about The Woman in Cabin 10, which I'm so about. I've heard good things. It just maybe isn't one that intrigues me as much, but Turn of the Key especially I really want to read. So this will not be my last Ruth Ware. I'm excited to see where Ruth Ware goes. I know The It Girl was her 2022 release, so I'm excited. I like the author. It's just too long. It's just too long. Hello. it has been a while since I read this book, and since I've filmed for this video, it's kind of taken a little bit of a backseat just because readathons, other projects, so on and so forth. But I finished reading The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. I read the whole thing. It was a good old time. I think that this is a story, like often I feel with many Stephen Graham Jones, I need to reread it physically. I need to physically be in the story. I can't go off simply just the audiobook. It just doesn't give me the full context. I feel like I miss out on important parts, especially with this story. It feels like this has like incredible reread capabilities, so I definitely want to give it another chance, and I think it would increase my rating. But for now, at this current moment, it was 4 stars, kind of closer to a 3.5. I really enjoyed it. I went into it really like worried and scared about the whole basketball thing, I'll be honest. It wasn't that bad. The basketball thing was not terrible. It was like, for the plot, it made a lot of sense. I really love the ending. And for the like culture of Indigenous people, it has an impact. It's there for a reason. But I was so intimidated that it was going to be like basketball jargon I didn't understand, and it wasn't going to relate to the plot or have a purpose. But like it does. There's a reason. It makes sense. It is good. This is following 4 different friends who do something together, and it comes back to haunt them. That's all I'm going to tell you. I highly recommend watching Kayla's live streams for honestly any of these books, especially the ones written that have more social commentary, because it's good to have full conversations and perspectives on that, especially if it's from a community you're not aware of. I definitely feel that when with the other book I just read, When No One Is Watching. But I did enjoy this. I thought it was really good. I just didn't get the full impact of it. The ending, fantastic. It was incredible. But leading up to it, I felt it was a little bit slow and the pacing was off, and I just wasn't able to connect or care as much. But I think if I read it again, I'll pick up on more clues along the way and more imagery, and then it'll kind of give me a better effect. Just when you thought you couldn't see enough of me. Editing Sam here again to say she forgot to review another one. This one I knew I haven't reviewed yet, and then I just like kind of forgot that I still had to do that. And now here we are. So now I'm going to be reviewing When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. This is a thriller. It's definitely more, it's pretty thrilling. Mystery. I think I put this specific review off for a while because I didn't know how to properly talk about it. I definitely recommend reading it, like absolutely. Out of like all of these books, this is definitely up there for one that I could recommend to a lot of people, and premise it with like, just because you don't understand, like if it's not scary to you, this is definitely terrifying to a lot of people. I was even a little spooked, and so it's so good. I gave it 4 stars. It wasn't like my favorite. The beginning was a bit of a slog. It definitely got interesting, but it took me a while to really like be invested into it. But I appreciate the work that was done and like everything going on. I think a lot of people give this 5 stars. I also highly recommend watching the live show where they properly discuss the books. Any of them if you're interested, but especially this one because the conversations were really good and really eye-opening, and like they did a good job talking about this specific one. When No One Is Watching is about this girl who has been noticing changes in her neighborhood, and slowly like new buildings are being built, people are moving out, so on and so forth. Very gentrification thriller. And her new neighbor moves in, and they kind of start working together to learn the history. And again, like this is a very slow burn thriller. Like it's not super exciting at the beginning. It takes a while to get into it, and like for me it took me a lot longer to care about what was going on. But then once the ending happens, I was like mind blown, because I really enjoyed it. And this isn't something that I've read a whole lot of before, but like I don't know how to describe it in a way that like sounds interesting. You just have to take my word for it that it is good, and that like reviews for it are fantastic, and like a lot of people like it. Granted, I say that and I'm sure there are plenty of people that don't like it, but I just don't know because I'm one girl on the internet. I can only read so many reviews, but I do recommend this one. I thought it was really well done. I'm excited to see anything else Alyssa Cole comes out with. I want to say she like also maybe writes romance. Don't quote me on that, but I haven't read anything else from this author and I would be interested. So that is my little mini review of When No One Is Watching, because I don't know how to actually talk or explain about this book. Just know that it is good. It has very good discussions if you're ever like wanting a thriller to have good discussions about. Yeah, I'm not that girl right now though, so I'm so sorry. Bad review. What can I do? No. I'm not reading House of Leaves today like I had planned to. Therefore, no video tomorrow because I didn't have content planned and I'm so overwhelmed and stressed. So we're not doing that. I'll get back to House of Leaves at some point. It's just so intimidating and I'm really discouraged right now. So this book, we're taking a little mini break. This is You're Invited by Amanda Giatisa. And I've actually started this a while ago, back when it was supposed to be the book club pick in like November or October. I'm on page 146, 147, chapter 9. I've got like 200 and some change pages to go. What is this about, you ask? I do know. I've actually surprisingly remembered this pretty well, which I think is a good sign. But in this, we are following ex-best friends in a wedding. So our main character, whose name I don't actually remember, Amaya, is invited to her ex-best friend's wedding, and her ex-best friend is getting married to her ex-boyfriend. Sticky drama. It's weird. She's like, we don't talk. I do periodically stalk you to know like what's going on in your life, but I didn't know this. And you're inviting me to your wedding. How weird. And she starts going. She goes to the wedding. It's like beautiful. She's kind of like a part of the wedding prep as well. Like suddenly they're besties again. And she's like, that's weird, but okay, sure. And then we get to the wedding. And so this is told in flashbacks and in interviews and then in like current day, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. I'll correct later if I remember or if I'm wrong. But the bride goes missing. Is she dead? Everyone's pointing fingers at the best friend who's like, you wouldn't be pleased about this. And then she obviously doesn't want her ex-best friend to marry her ex-boyfriend because, you know, there's probably some trauma there. And she turns up dead. Everyone's like, obviously it was you. And she's like, it wasn't me. I promise. So she has to like solve the case, clear her name. But we're also getting police interviews with all of the guests, and all of the guests are like, it could be, there's a lot of suspect. There's some shady people happening. So that's kind of what's going on. I am, again, starting chapter 9, which is Amaya 4 days before the wedding. So we're going to be in closer to present time. It's kind of like a countdown. Prediction would be, that's my assumption, because why else? But I don't know why. I think the friend, honestly, like, might be framing Amaya, or I don't know. I don't know why she's disappeared. I'm sure the boyfriend had something to do. I don't know. I'm gonna figure it out. I've heard a lot of great reviews about this, so I am excited and intrigued to see how it concludes and where it goes from here. But I'm excited to finish this. I'm excited to take a break from House of Leaves, if we're being totally honest, because like, so that's what's going on with me. Great. I don't think I'm gonna finish all of this tonight, if we're being totally honest, but I need to finish this before the video can go up. So it'll be done soon, within a few days. But I will update you guys when it's done. I remember that I was enjoying it. It was a very quick read. I didn't have an audiobook. I was just reading with my eyes, and I read 146 pages in one sitting. So like, that's fast for me. So I know this is a quick read, which is a good sign. And I remember enjoying it, but I just wasn't gripped and I didn't love it, but I liked the atmosphere. I didn't care about any of the guests or the characters though. So we'll see if that changes, if my opinions are better or worse. We'll see. I have finally finished the book. Oh my god, this took me so long. I didn't check the dates before updating, because why would I do something like that? But I started this in 2022 for the Literally Dead book club pick, obviously. And I think I got like maybe a third through, and then I kind of just put it down, wasn't able to finish in time, hit a reading slump, and hadn't had a desire to really pick this back up, just like in general. And I finally finished it. I was lucky enough that I was able to get the audiobook last night. So I just kind of powered through the last 2/3, which I'm glad that I had the audiobook to kind of help get me through this, because I don't know how to review this book right now. So this is following Amaya primarily, but also her ex-best friend Kavi, who is getting married to Amaya's ex-boyfriend, and we get to see a lot of the drama going on pre-wedding, at the wedding, some like secrets being divulged, learning more about like these characters, their families, the power dynamics, so on and so forth. It's primarily drama, but it's so hard because like it is thrilling in the sense of like you don't know what is going on. The author does an incredible job when it comes to like the writing and story plots of like the red herrings and like you figuring out what's going on like maybe 3 pages before the characters start to figure it out, and you start kind of piecing things together while the other characters don't know stuff, but still like latching on to what you think is happening and then it doesn't actually happen. Like I guess you could say like the red herrings like really worked in the story. Like the writing was well done, but we're seeing interviews and different characters, and there's just like a lot of drama going on that I didn't really care about and I wasn't super invested in, because I took so long in between and I just never really felt a connection to the characters, so it was hard for me to really like get behind their decisions, because like talking to people, I know that it is so hard in theory like to talk to people and hash out your feelings and like have that confrontation. I get it, it's hard, but like it could solve so many problems. But anyway, I enjoyed the ending. I think honestly if it was like 100-page shorter, I think I would have been more engaged and entertained throughout the story. But again, like well written, well plotted. I really enjoyed the setting, so it's like a mid 3 stars. Like not great, not bad. It was just like a good time, but not super memorable. What was nice though is I remembered everything that happened in the first third pretty well. Like I didn't feel like when I picked this back up like I was missing a lot of information. Like I did know what had happened a year ago, and so that was kind of nice. I didn't feel like a fish out of water picking this back up, so it has stuck with me, I guess, rather well, but maybe not long term, but I have officially finally read this and completed it. I will actually be reading a different Literally Dead book club book today, but that will be in a completely different video because it's for this year. So for this video, all I have left is one book review that I read months ago and just need to review, and the trusted, what's up, Sock? And of course, House of Leaves. So that's my big project for this video, and then we'll be done. This has taken me a year. Hi, I haven't checked in once for this book. I've been reading House of Hunger for like 5 days now, and I've been wanting consistently to like say something to you guys about it, but as I've continued reading it, oh no, I got something on my book. But as I've been reading it, I just haven't had a lot of thoughts, and so I haven't filmed, but I have 35 pages left now, so I'm gonna knock this out tonight, and I will either give you a review tonight, probably tomorrow. But in this, we are following a new blood maid. Her name is Marion, and basically she is taken from her not fun life in the slums of Prawn and is uprooted to the north to be a blood mage for the Countess of House of Hunger. And basically these blood maids bleed for the Countess and her condition, her illness, her hunger, and that's the gist. This book has been very slow. It is very atmospheric in vibes and character-ish heavy. Not a lot of plot. It wasn't until I got over the 200-page mark where like a mystery plot was even really in part of the story, but it was a little bit predictable. This is definitely a horror, so it's not really supposed to have like a great big twist like you would a thriller, but it still hasn't been shocking yet. There's been a few like scenes that I'm like, ooh, especially like teeth revolved stuff. I don't like it. Not for me. It freaks me out. But overall, like, it's just been vibes. I enjoy it, but I don't love it as much as everybody else seems to. It's probably more of a 4-star right now, but who knows? The last 35 pages might do something for me. But yeah, it's kind of just been easy, quick read, atmospheric, good writing. That's about it. But I'll update you guys probably tomorrow when I finish.
Marion as a character a lot. I think she had really believable intentions. I think.
Hi, I've been cleaning up my office and all like the books scattered around and putting them properly away, reorganizing, the rainbow as you do. I never properly finished reviewing this for you guys. I finished it at this point a very long time ago and I just like never updated you. But I finished this. I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed the vibes. The ending really picked up in pace, but it took a really long time to get to that point. And so I kind of wish that it was honestly maybe shorter, or there was just like more spooky things happening throughout. I didn't love anything in particular, but I can see why people do enjoy this. The live show didn't really give me a whole lot to go off of either. It was just like a good atmospheric, no plots kind of vibe. So it was good. I would recommend it to a lot of people, especially because it's on the shorter side. It's like vampires without really being vampires. It was fun. I do recommend. That's all though. I don't really have a lot of thoughts about this. This one didn't really make me think of many things, but it was an enjoyable time nonetheless. So I'm so overwhelmed. Video projects, they're really fun unless they span over a year. Then they're like less fun because like you think you lose stuff and you're looking for things constantly and like your brain's just like very scattered and all over the place. Normally this is not a problem for me. I'm so organized. I'm not today. Today is not the day. Thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I spent literally a year reading these books for you and for me, so I hope you enjoyed. I will see you guys on Thursday for my House of Leaves reading vlog. Bye.